our government says, we welcome all migrants. We welcome you with open arms. But you're doing nothing to protect them. Right. Yeah. They're being extorted by this gang. They're being beaten and raped and sex trafficked and starved. I mean, horrifying. You know, now it's a lot quieter and a lot calmer now, right, since President Trump has taken office and folks, these criminals are being deported, right, you know, and these folks are a lot safer. But make no mistake of it, nobody was protecting the peaceful migrants. Nobody was protecting them. Right. The Democrats can say whatever they want to. Nobody was protecting them at all. And I witnessed it with my own two eyes.
Hmm. What have you seen since then? Have you driven by those apartments recently, like over the past year? Obviously, you know, I think Trump called it Operation Aurora at one point. Like, what's kind of, and then everyone's seen the videos of, I want to say ICE, ICE, like going to these different apartment complexes and, you know what I'm saying, scoping them out and whatever they were doing. Yeah, what's like different now? Because obviously it's not as loud as it was.
That's right. Well, that's right. Yeah. And I have had several constituents who live in homes near the area of these apartment complexes. Yeah. They have reached out and thanked me. And let me be clear that most of the folks that live in Northwest Aurora are Democrats. And they're thanking me. They are thanking me for telling the truth and not crumbling and not caving when just about anybody else probably would have. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, I would be afraid to like report on some of that stuff.
Right.
Just knowing what comes with that, you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you something. One night I was with my son. I took him to the movies. And this was just at Tower and Hamden, not Northwest Aurora. Yeah. And my son and I come walking out of the movie theater, and the police had given me a heads up that just about every Tren de Aragua gang member that was in the city knew who I was and knew what I looked like. Right. So I already had this, you know, lingering over my shoulder. But my son and I, little 5-year-old, come walking out of the movie theater, and there's a group of Hispanics standing outside the doors, and I didn't think anything of it. I don't know at what point they recognized me, at what point they realized it was me. We had stopped. My son had to go to the restroom, so I took him to the restroom, and we come walking out, and they start yelling Venezuela at me. Really? Yeah. And I stopped, and I picked my son up, and I just stared at them for a second just to kind of see if they were gonna come at me, if they were, you know, and they didn't. And it probably because I had my son with me. Yeah. But they shouted Venezuela at me the entire time I walked to my car. So I know the risks that I took, right? You know, and how big, I mean, this became the biggest story, I think, in like modern times. Right. And
you probably were not expecting that at all.
Not only was I not expecting it, the Romeros were not expecting it. Right, you know, they're just regular people who were living paycheck to paycheck, just bombarded by the media. They were called liars. They were called racists. Their last name is Romero. Yeah. And I think that's what broke my heart more than anything, is that I signed up for this. I put myself in this position, running for public office, right? And at the end of the day, I'm still a human being. I still very much have emotions, and it hurts and it's hard. But for folks like the Romeros, who didn't sign up for anything like this, who literally were forced from their home, who had to live in fear, in terror. Right. If you go back and listen to interviews that Cindy has given, I mean, there were times they bartered for their lives by giving the gang members food. I mean, who my heart really started to break for was the Romeros. They didn't sign up for this. And let me tell you, they were both lifelong registered Democrats. Cindy Romero, when she spoke at the Trump rally, when he came to Aurora on October 11th, she said that. She told the entire crowd that she was a lifelong registered Democrat. that was voting for president. We no sooner had the Romeros moved out within a half hour that Vicente broke the story. Mm-hmm. And that video footage came out.
Yeah, so he was ready. He knew it was going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. All of a sudden, it broke like wildfire.
Yeah.
I have every news station calling me. I have national media calling. I have everybody calling me. And
it's wild to deal with. I couldn't imagine.
It was wild.
Yeah.
It was wild. What I told Cindy, well, we're in it. We're in it. I will deal with the media. I will figure this out. Right now, we're going to focus on getting you moved in. And you need to calm down. You guys need to get calm down. We need to get your cars fixed.
Out about the media.
Well, she was just devastated. Yeah. She loved her home. They lived in that apartment for 4 years. Mm. They loved it. She hadn't slept in months. They were kicking in people's doors. I mean,
yeah.
When we got to the that I got him, it all finally hit her, and she was able to take a deep breath and just broke down.
Yeah.
So I told her, deal with the media. They are all going to ask for your contact information. I said, but I'll take the lead on this. I'll navigate this. And if I think it's someone that, you should talk to, then I'll let you know. And I just told her, you do not worry about the media at all right now. I'll deal with them. So, but it just continued to escalate and escalate. Mm-hmm. And then next thing I knew, I was on Fox News National. And then it escalates even more. This was August 28th that I moved the Romeros out. Yeah. It escalates even more. And I get a phone call. President Trump's coming to Aurora. Not only is President Trump coming to Aurora, he's going to have a rally, and he wants you and Cindy Romero to speak at it.
Mm. That's nerve-wracking.
What?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is if you go back, I think she's taken a lot of it down now, but Cindy Romero, up until about 4 months before I moved her out of the apartment complex, she was on Facebook every day.
Really?
She hated him.
Yeah.
Fast forward 6 months, she's speaking at the Trump rally, begging other Democrats to please vote for President Trump.
So pretty much like before she was affected by the illegal immigration and, I guess the gangs from that, she was like very blue or, supporter of Democrats. And then all of a sudden,
lifelong.
Once like stuff started happening to her like firsthand, she's seeing it, it's affecting her. It made her kind of realize.
And I think what really hit her too is when I moved her out and she saw the media calling me a liar and then inadvertently calling her a liar. And this is her lived experience. Right. This is her lived story, not mine. It's one thing to call me a liar. It's another thing to call the Romeros a liar, who lived through this torment. And it was Democrats, right? It was Democrats calling us liars. And I think that's when Cindy and Ed really were like, what is going on? And getting this phone call that President Trump is cut. I mean, this was so much for both of us to take in. Right. But I just told Cindy, I said,
because it probably wouldn't have been like on a normal year, probably, President's probably not calling you. But given it was right just before the election,
that's right.
Like, of course you're
But Kamala could have come out here. She could have held a rally in Aurora and said, I want to speak with Cindy Romero. We never got that call. So you had a lifelong Democrat get up on stage at the Trump rally and say to 40,000 Trump supporters, I am a lifelong registered Democrat, and I am asking other Democrats to please join me and vote for President Trump. Mm-hmm. That's pretty powerful.
Right.
And that takes a lot of guts on her part, right? To get up at a Trump rally, or Trump supporters, and say that you are a lifelong registered Democrat. I just, it's been a lot. I mean, it's been a lot, but and I would say that where we're at now, the apartment complexes, remodeling on one of them has already started. I think the other properties are in negotiation for sale. Ultimately, they're all going to be remodeled. And like I said, talking to the constituency in that part of Aurora, I mean, they thank me. And they all tell me, I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat, Danielle. But thank you for being.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the Democrats realize they lost a lot of their own people because of this, because of the broken immigration system.
Well, and you've seen it during the election, like just how much it swayed, right?
That's right.
It swayed a lot.
That's right.
A popular thing during that time from the other side was, it's, the landlords,
right.
Slumlords. Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on that take?
Well, I don't know that I have an opinion either way. CBZ Management bought those properties in 2019 and 2020, and they bought them in as-is condition.
Yeah.
So they weren't in great condition to begin with. In pandemic hit for almost 2 years, right? So now we're at the end of 2021, and in, I believe it was 2022, they did invest roughly $300,000 into remodeling the Dallas Street apartments, which is where the Romeros lived. Right. And I think their plan was to go property by property and get them remodeled. The Romeros apartment was so cute. Appliances, brand new flooring.
So that's probably why they were attached to it.
They loved it. They loved it there. So I have mixed feelings. I believe that the intentions of the landlord were good. Like I said, these three were all purchased in 2019 and 2020. Mm-hmm. The pandemic hit, brought everything to a screeching halt. So they weren't able to get their properties remodeled as quickly as they wanted to. Invested $300,000 into the Dallas Street apartments. Yeah. And I saw the Romero's apartment for myself. Cute apartment. Right. They loved it. So, I have mixed emotions because I also know that they called and asked for help. They reached out to our attorney general and asked for help. And then you have the residents calling and asking for help over and over and over, and nobody's addressing the situation. Right. The trash truck company, the trash truck company told the landlord, and this is when it really, yes. The trash truck driver was held at gunpoint.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. So all that trash
of course
that was sitting, that's exactly right. But the media was putting out all these photos of all this piled up trash and these slumlords and, this and that. And it's, I think, the truth lies in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. But if you talk to the Romeros, they loved their apartment. And the boiler, they said, the only time it was like a really big issue was the boiler went down and they didn't have hot water for roughly 2 days. Mm. But I mean, that 2 days, to replace an entire boiler system,
right,
to get it done in 48 hours, I would say the landlord acted pretty quickly. on that,
Right.
you know. So, you know, I think that the landlord was used as a scapegoat for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think also the landlord probably should have had an on-site property management company rather than trying to have family members manage the property.
Yeah.
My feelings lie somewhere in the middle of all of that, but I certainly don't blame the landlord for a transnational gang coming in and kicking in people's doors.
Yeah.
And taking over apartment complexes and beating up the staff, hospitalizing the staff, holding the staff at gunpoint, robbing the staff, and telling the staff, do not return to work. I don't blame the landlord for that at all.
Right. Okay.